Hey everybody, welcome to Example of Play, the home for strategy, tactics, and more. If you haven't subscribed already, now's your chance. This video is going to be a look at Airborne Empire, an open world RPG city builder that just went into early access this week, and one that I just had to play. This is probably going to be the most whimsical game I play this year, I can already tell. I played the demo of this in the Steam Next Fest a few months back and was really taken with it, and so I couldn't resist picking it up when it came into early access this week. So just the quick version, looking at it here, it's a city builder. You have one city, and the important part is that that city is flying in the air. It's sort of a fantastical airship kind of world where the people on it are little birds that build this city that flies through the air. In this video, since it's early access just came out, I've played a couple hours with it, besides also playing with the demo some before. And so we're just going to kind of look it over, look at the mechanics. I'm not real deep into the game, so I can't tell you this is like a top-notch city builder compared to some of them out there, but this is feels like a really chill game, and that's kind of fun. It's got some exploration to it. It's got a little bit of combat to it, and it's mostly just kind of enjoyable is what I've got out of it so far. But there are a lot of cool mechanics that go along with having this city flying through the air. So let's take a look at a few of them. So looking at the game, kind of some core concepts. A game that I kind of had to compare it to in my mind, even though they're similar in some ways and totally opposite in other interesting ways, is Frostpunk. Because here you've got this world that's kind of desolate. You're kind of the only city that's of your kind in the world, but there are some cities on the ground, but you're the only flying city. But really, the part that made me think of it the most is that you have the city that you're building out from a center. So here you have like a center. In Frostpunk, you have like the furnace, and you build out from that. Now, the things that are totally different is, of course, the tone here is whimsical with this idyllic world and birds fluttering through the air. And the tone is totally different, but it is this lone city that you're building up and that you're responsible for, and you have all these people that live in it, and it grows out from this middle and gets bigger, and you kind of get to choose how it expands out. Other ways that it's kind of like Frostpunk is you do have quests that you do, so you'll pick up different tasks as you go along. There's technologies to research, we'll look at those. And you do have to collect coal, or else your city falls out of the sky if it runs out of coal. So that's one thing. Now, one thing that's interesting about the game in that it is a flying city is you have to worry about your lift and propulsion and how balanced your city is. So this game has a lot of elements that make it both a literal and metaphorical balancing act. As you build your city out, all these different buildings you attach to it, and you have to build these little sidewalk paths to build off of as you go. So you kind of get to design your city out. But these have a weight to them, so they cause your city to tilt one way or the other. So far, I haven't found that it's too extreme, but I guess as the city gets bigger, I'm sure it gets a little more thoughtful of which directions you build out in. And then, we got some pirates coming, so there is some combat. And then you have to worry about lift. So lift is kind of your limit on how big your city can be. So to get more lift, so you can build more stuff, you got to build big propellers to push it up. And then you have to build propellers to give it propulsion. So I've got them on the front here, added a couple, because if you don't, then your city gets so slow from being big and having all this drag on it that it slows down to a crawl. And part of it is you're on the move most of the time. You're going here and there, doing quests and things. And so you want your city to be, that doesn't have to be fast, but if you don't build those, it gets kind of slow. And then there's kind of an artistic part of how you build your city out, because everyone's city is going to look a little different. I built this is the hangar, is the first thing I built. I put it on the front when I realized that it looks kind of like a duck's head. So I put it on the front, and my goal is to make my city look like a giant bird flying through the air if I can do that. So I'm kind of building it in that way. We got some pirates coming in here for us, so we've got just our only defense right now is we have this turret tower, which is pretty effective so far against these kind of small attacks. But even the pirates are cute. Look at him. He's a little air pirate. And we're going to blow him up, though, as he comes in. So it's an automated defense tower. I think the combat gets more expansive as you go. There's more different types of enemies. And There's a whole research tree for combat. So far all we have now is this defense tower that just automatically shoots at them. It's good enough so far. So I'll get further into the game, see how that goes. But the way you collect resources, so they damage us a little bit, we got to repair, which costs some resources, so that'll bring us to that. So up here at the top, there's a lot of stuff. There's different resources and things to worry about. It's kind of a balancing act in that you constantly need to be gathering resources. You need coal to power all the fans, otherwise eventually your city will just fall out of the air. And then you need water, you need food for your people, and then the more people you have, of course, the more of that you need. You need to provide light, so as you expand, you got to build some little light lamp posts and things to have light, so your guys don't have accidents, fall off the side or something. Health is a concern. So far we haven't had any problems with that, but you can build like clinics and things. And then morale has to be boosted. So far, not a concern in the early game, but it probably becomes one later. And then we have to build houses for our people. And we gotta get coal, like I mentioned, wood, and then wood, iron, cloth, glass. There's raw resources that you then convert and use to build stuff and do upgrades and things. And then there's also some money, currency that you can gather to buy stuff from the towns. So quite a few things to worry about up there. And then I guess we'll go ahead and look at the research tree since that's popped up. So we just researched increase our defense tower range by 15%. So as our city gets bigger, we'll either need to build more of those or keep increasing the range on them. And as you go along, you have a lot of things you can research here. So a lot of these are just kind of percentage increases or incremental improvements to things, which is fine. But also some of them unlock new buildings that you get. Let's just look through. So basics, we got like the town center. We can upgrade it in a lot of ways that basically give us more capacity, more shelter, morale, lift, all that kind of, basically all our stats of our city we can improve here to some extent by researching. But these later ones like take a significant amount of time. So most of these researches don't cost you anything to do the research. It just takes time, which 64 hours, that's a long time. And then we got houses, the hangar, which we can add more aircraft to each hangar if we do the upgrades. Some more stuff I haven't got yet. And then needs, I haven't got any of these yet other than the street lamp, which we kind of needed early on. There's tons of other stuff that we'll get eventually. In production, to do some of our resources, getting like turning ore into iron, cloth, or cotton into cloth. There's a couple more here for those resources we need for construction, upgrades, storage, so like a warehouse, and then whatever else comes along. Lift, so different types of fans and things to lift our city up. Propulsion, likewise, like propellers to move faster. And then combat. So you see the combat tree is pretty huge. Right now we just have the defense tower. It looks like there's about 5 other types of combat buildings that we can get eventually. And then the way you unlock more of these is by going around. Some of them you can get by doing quests, and some you can buy from the blueprints from the academy. In the bigger cities have academies you can buy those blueprints from and then research them. But basically all the time you're cruising around, you're researching something, but a lot of them take a fair amount of time. So you kind of want everything, but you got to pick something as you go, which will take, I'm going to make our fans a little more fuel efficient. We're going to do this upgrade. That'll make our coal usage decrease 30%. So that'll be a little less concern of always collecting coal, which we're getting a little low there. So let's see. So then that brings us to, how do you collect resources? So whenever you build this, the first thing you build is a hangar, and then that gives you little airplanes that your little birds fly down to the ground to collect resources and do other things. And then as you're cruising along, you're constantly gathering stuff because you don't necessarily, you can't stay in one place or you'll exhaust all the resources there, which like the forests give you wood, coal deposit gets you coal, and then those things run out and then can regenerate over time. But you got to get some water, you got to get some food, but you got to be near these resources to gather them. But then as you're cruising along, you'll get out of range, you'll have to switch back. But it gives a nice feeling to the game of just exploring this world. You're on the move. You've got these little whimsical little planes going out, and your little guys bringing back some resources for the city. So it's kind of adorable. It's hard to deny that the art style is great. I keep wanting to like take a screenshot and just make this like my wallpaper of my computer. I mean, it's hard to look at that and not kind of just be like a kid looking at like, ooh, here's these little fans and these little wings flapping and all that stuff. Great art design. And then the world itself is kind of looks like a patchwork quilt of a world. But as we can see in the distance, there's other biomes that look a little scarier out there. We haven't got to them yet. And that's part of what attracts me to this game, is that it's got this really great exploration element to it. Not many city builders have you exploring a world, because by their nature, you usually focus on a static point. You might build cities out or connect different cities together, but rarely is your city on the move and exploring the world as you go. And that brings us to kind of the last big feature, big component of the mechanics of the game, is the quests. So there is a story to this world. There are characters you meet, cities you go to. You start collecting quests. So you have like a main quest, and you got a bunch of side quests. And the first few you get feel like kind of like just sketch quests or fetch quests, where you're just gathering some resources, delivering them here and there. But then you start getting ones that are a little more exploration, or start using the mechanics in creative ways to solve some problems. And so I'm interested to see how those quests keep shaking up as you go, because some of them have been a little interesting. You're going to cruise around the world and try to figure out how to do something, or you see like stuff in the distance and you're kind of just wondering like, what is that thing over there? Is that like a bridge, a big city over there? There's a lot to find. And then the world has some lore to it, even though it looks real pretty and idyllic. One thing you get right off the bat is that this world is kind of fallen from what it once was. The cities on the ground are kind of disconnected, and you're the only city that can fly. And basically the game is partly about restoring that world to what it once was, the Airborne Kingdom, or they keep calling it the Airborne Kingdom, though the game's called Airborne Empire. I'm not sure exactly how those two things line up eventually. But yeah, you go around, you help out the people, and then you fight pirates. Of course, there are pirates everywhere that randomly attack, and eventually we're going to go and find their outposts and attack them back once we get some more weaponry going on. And before I forget, I should show you how to actually build something in this city builder. I think we've looked at everything else except building. And down here at the bottom, also notice there's all these things here that are locked. I don't even know what all those do yet. Haven't unlocked them yet. But to build, it's pretty easy. We can just pull up here. We got different categories of things, and we're going to build them. Let's say right now, I could use another house. So a housing block lets you build a house, and it's pretty easy. You stick it on here, but as you're moving it around, you can see it tells you if it's going to affect the tilt, and if it's lit, because you don't want your guys falling off the side during the night. So if you build out here, it tells you nighttime accidents may occur, so you don't want to leave areas unlit. Put someone's house out here where they're going to fall out into the sky. But if we put it here, so like I said, most of the buildings, it seems, don't cause too much of a problem with the tilting. We're only affecting it like 1 degree. But if you were to go crazy and build way too far out here, I wonder if we could. So we can build the path, is how we kind of expand our structure and streets, and then we build buildings off of it. If, say, we were crazy and we did that, and then our guys come in and start building. Look at them with their little giant wooden mallets that they use to build stuff. So if we did that, and then we stuck this way out here on the end, it's still not causing too much of an issue, because it's just the house. But we are seeing our cities tilting a little bit that way. So just for funsies here, if we built something heavy like an iron forge, now we're tilting a little more. So you can see, you don't have to worry about that too much. But if you did go crazy and you started building more and more out on one side, your whole city's going to start tilting over, which I don't know what happens other than it probably just slows you down. And then up here you can see our lift is now at 82 of 83, so we can't really build anything else, or we're going to be too heavy. We'll sink into the ground, so it won't even let us build out. So that's telling us, if you get a couple more degrees, now we're in heavy tilt. So now we are causing a problem, tilting too far. So for an efficient city, you need to not do that. You need to keep everything nice and balanced. And if we needed to get rid of it and realize, wow, that looks terrible and ugly, we can disassemble it a little here. Which, taking out the path there is kind of a pain. And then we're back to where we were. So I think that takes us through most of the major mechanics of the game. I'm going to keep playing it, get deeper into it. And then, of course, like I said, this is still early access. It just came into early access. So they do have a roadmap where they kind of sketch out their plans. They're going to keep working on the game for about a year. But I would say right now it's totally playable as it is. It doesn't cost too much. It's only like $30. And I'll be interested to see stuff that they keep adding to it. They talked about adding basically more of everything, more quests, more types of quests, more combat stuff, more difficulty levels, maybe like challenge modes and creative modes, so you can just build the city of your dreams without having to collect all the resources and stuff. And they're open to player input on that, which is great. But I think right now this is a really great foundation for this game. It's obviously got a wonderful art style. The music is lovely. And it's a real chill city builder where there is kind of some constant pressure of you need to be collecting resources, you need to be moving and doing stuff, but it's not stressful. It's kind of just a constant need to move and gather and grow, but I like the positive tone. There's lots of games out there that are dark and gritty and all that kind of thing, but this game lets you go around helping people. And look, they're like little bird people that are very cute, and you go around and buy and sell resources from them. You can recruit more people to join your city. Right now we can't because we need to build some more housing. But yeah, you pick up people and they all have names. Casey McKidd, stuff like that. So and then helping them out doing quests and things and rebuilding this world and exploring it, seeing what's out there. Because if we look at the map, we can see that based on just looking at this map, I don't think there's actually that much land out there. But if we just go from what we can see here, just these islands kind of right in here is what I've kind of explored so far, but we can clearly see that there's quite a bit more. There's at least a couple more areas out there that are just as big. And then as the game goes through development, they're going to keep adding more biomes, more places, expanding the world out. So great game great bones for this game. Very promising start. If you're looking for a city builder, something that is fun and maybe a little whimsical, but still has some good mechanics and interesting stuff with literally balancing your city, building it up to both kind of look the way you want it to, but also be functional in the kind of fantastical sense that this city's flying through the air. But yeah, I would say give it a shot for sure. Check it out. And thanks for watching. I'll probably keep playing this game if we get a little deeper into it, see if it mixes it up, gets more complicated. Might do a little follow-up video further into it. We'll see how it goes. But yeah, I'm enjoying this game, liking it so far, so check it out. And thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time.